Imagine a plane taking off from New York in the United States to London in the UK. If during the takeoff, the pilot decides to slightly adjust the course of the journey, the nose of the plane will shift a little and nobody on board the aircraft would notice the change. But over the course of the journey, the impact of the change would be massive. Instead of United Kingdom, the plane might reach some other country. Hi, welcome to Book in a Nutshell. In this video, I'm going to share 12 lessons I learned from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. By the end of this video, you'll be able to apply simple yet powerful techniques to master new habits. So let's go to lesson number 1. Just like the example of the airplane I mentioned, small changes in our habits are invisible in short run, but in long run, they can have a massive impact on your life. For example, if you are out of shape today and you are going for a 20-minute jog, you will still be out of shape tomorrow. Similarly, if you eat a family-sized burger for dinner, it won't make you overweight overnight. But if you eat burger every day, by the end of the year, you will have gained massive weight. Similarly, if you go jogging for 20 minutes every day, you will get slimmer and fitter, even though you won't have noticed the change happening. The key to making big changes in your life doesn't have to involve major action. You don't need to change your behavior or reinvent yourself. Rather, you can make tiny changes in your behavior, which, when repeated time and time again, will become habits that may lead to a big result. Lesson number 2. Focus on your current track rather than your current results. What does that mean? If you want to make a positive change in your life, you should recognize that change requires patience and confidence to be on track, even if you are not seeing immediate results. If you find that your behavior and habits don't seem to be paying off, focus on your current track rather than your current results. Your current results will demotivate you, whereas your current track will motivate you. If you have very little money in your bank account, but you are saving something every month and your saving is increasing steadily every month, then you should be confident that you are on the right track. Your current results might not be great, but keep following the same track and a few months or maybe a few years later, you will notice a major improvement in your bank account. On the other hand, a millionaire who overspends his earning each month may not be worried about his monthly bank statement until he reaches a point where he realizes that he had taken the wrong track. Lesson number 3. Habits are automatic behaviors that you have learned from your past experience. For example, when you walk into a dark room, you don't think about what to do next. You automatically reach for the light switch. That's a habit. A behavior that you have repeated so many times that it has now become a habit and it is now automatic. Lesson number 4. Every habit begins with a trigger to act. For example, a buzz on your phone triggers you to check your message. Another example would be walking into a dark room triggers you to switch on the light. Another example would be sitting in a driver's seat triggers you to buckle your seat belt. Lesson number 5. The end goal of every habit is the reward. For example, by switching on the lights, the reward is the feeling of relief and comfort because now you can see everything in the room. By buckling your seatbelt, the reward is feeling safe and secure while you're driving. Lesson number 6. Adjust your surroundings to build a new habit. A US-based doctor wanted to improve her patients' dietary habits without requiring them to make a conscious decision. She got to the hospital cafeteria and rearranged. Earlier, the refrigerators next to the cash counter contained only soda. The doctor introduced water at every drinking station, including the refrigerators near to the cash counter. Over 3 months' time, the soda sales dropped by 11%, while the water sales shot up to 25%. People were making healthy choices just because water was more visible than the soda. Simple changes to our environment and surroundings can make a big difference. Want to practice guitar? Leave a guitar out in the center of the room so you can see it always. Trying to eat healthy snacks? Leave them on the counter so that you can see them instead of keeping them inside the refrigerator. Make your cues as visible as possible so that it triggers to take action. Lesson 7. Have a clear intention and a clear plan of action. Most of us tend to be unclear about our intentions. We say, I'm going to eat better, or I want to be rich. Don't just say, I will run more often. Say, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, when the alarm goes off, the first thing I will do is to put on my running gear and clock 2 miles. Then leave your running shoes out where you can see them. By doing this, you will be giving yourself both a clear plan and a visible cue to trigger an action. And it may surprise you how much easier this will make it to actually build a positive running habit. Lesson 8. Make your habits attractive. The human brain releases dopamine, a hormone that makes us feel good. When we do pleasurable things such as the brain also releases dopamine when we simply anticipate, think, expect, or visualize those specific pleasurable activities. It's the brain's way of encouraging us to take action. A great technique for this is temptation bundling. That's when you take an important behavior that is unappealing to you and link it to a behavior that will generate a motivation dopamine. An engineering student in Europe knew he should exercise more, but he did not enjoy working out at the gym. However, he did enjoy watching latest movies. So he took an exercise bike, connected it to his laptop that would only allow latest movies to run if he was cycling at a certain speed. By linking exercise literally to a behavior that he loves, he transformed a distasteful activity into something which is very pleasurable one. If you want to watch sports, but you need to make sales calls, promise yourself half an hour of ESPN after you talk to your 10th prospect. By doing so, you connect an action you love to a task you don't really love. Soon you may find those unattractive tasks enjoyable, since you will be anticipating, thinking, and expecting of a pleasing reward while carrying out your unattractive task, in this case, sales calls. Lesson 9. Make new behaviors as easy to adapt as possible. Making behaviors as easy as possible is the key to turning them into habits. There are few tricks we can embrace to make everything seem easy. The first step is to focus on reducing the friction. The author of this book, Atomic Habits, had always been hopeless at sending greeting cards, while his wife never failed to send greeting cards on time. She kept a box of greeting cards at home, pre-sorted by occasion, making it easy for her to send congratulations, wedding anniversary, or condolence, or whatever it may be. Since she did not have to go out and buy a card, when someone gets married or has an accident, or it could be any occasion, there was no friction involved in sending a card. You can also use this approach to increase friction for bad habits. If you want to waste less time in front of the TV, unplug it and take the batteries out of your remote. Doing so will introduce new friction to ensure you only watch when you really want to. The second trick for making a habit easier in the long term is the 2-minute rule, a way to make any new activity feel manageable. The principle is that any activity can be turned into a habit that is doable within 2 minutes. Want to read more? Don't commit to reading one book every week. Instead, make a habit of reading 2 pages per night. Want to run a marathon? Commit to simply putting on your running gear every day after work. The 2-minute rule is an easy way to build achievable habits, and these habits can lead to achieve greater and bigger goals. Once you have pulled on your running shoes, you are probably ready to run. Once you have read 2 pages, you are likely to continue. Getting started is the first and the most important step towards achieving something big. Lesson number 10. Make your habits immediately satisfying. In the 1990s, when public health researcher Stephen Luby was working in the neighborhoods of Karachi in Pakistan, achieved a huge 52% reduction in diarrhea among the local children. Pneumonia rates dropped by 48% and the skin infection by 35%. Luby had known that hand washing and basic sanitation were essential in reducing illness. The locals also understood this, but they were not turning their knowledge into habit. Everything changed when Luby worked with Procter & Gamble to introduce a perfume-based soap into the neighborhood absolutely free. Overnight, hand washing became a satisfying experience. The new soap was bubbly and smelled delightful. Suddenly, everyone was washing their hands because it was now pleasing activity. The final and the most important rule for behavioral changes is to make habits satisfying. For example, the author knew a couple who wanted to eat out less, cook more, get healthier, and save money. To do so, they opened a savings account called the Trip to Europe account. And every time they avoided a meal out, they transferred around $50 to this account. The short-term satisfaction of seeing $50 land in that savings account provided the immediate gratification they need to keep them on track for the ultimate long-term reward. Lesson number 11. Track your habits. Whether you are trying to jog every day or give up smoking, managing your own behaviors can be hard. Many people have kept a record of their habits. One of the most well-known is the founding father, Benjamin Franklin. From the age of 20, Franklin kept a notebook in which he recorded 13 personal virtues, which included aims such as avoiding silly or useless conversation with people and to only do something useful. He noted his success every single night. You too can develop a habit tracker using a simple calendar, journal, or diary and ticking off your everyday chosen behaviors. You will find it effective because habit tracking itself is an attractive and satisfying habit. The anticipation and action of ticking off each day will feel good and keep you motivated. Lesson 12. Sign a penalty contract. Another technique is to develop a habit contract that imposes penalty if you fail to stay on track. An entrepreneur by name Mr. X took his habit contract very seriously. In a contract signed by him, his wife, and the personal trainer, he committed to get his weight down to 200 pounds. He identified specific habits that would help get him there, including tracking his food intake each day and weighing himself each week. Then he set up penalties for not doing those things. If he failed to track food intake, he would have to pay $100 to his trainer. If he failed to weigh himself, he would owe 500 to his wife. The strategy worked, driven not just by his fear of losing money, but his fear of losing face in front of two people who matter to him. We are social animals. We care about the options and opinions of those around us. So simply knowing that someone is watching you can be very powerful motivation and powerful to take you to the next level. So why not set yourself a habit contract? Consider making a commitment to your partner, your best friend, or your colleague. If you agree upon a set of consequences for failing to follow through, you will be much more likely to stick to your habits. And as we see, sticking to a positive habit, however small, is a definite way to achieve big things in life. So let's recap the key lessons learned. Lesson number 1, small habits in the long run can have massive impact on your life. Number 2, focus on your current track rather than your current results. Number 3, habits are automatic behaviors that you have learned from your past experience. Number 4, every habit begins with a trigger to act. Number 5, the end goal of every habit is the reward. Number 6, adjust your surroundings to build a new habit. Number 7, have a clear intention and a clear plan of action. Number 8, make your habit attractive. Number 9, make that habit as easy to adapt as possible. Number 10, make your habits immediately satisfying. Number 11, track your habits. And the last one is sign a penalty contract.